Didn't think you could overdose on pain. Now whenever I do the things we did, it doesn't feel the same no more. The curtains close, the show can't go on without you. Say you're not forgotten, but you're gone. Feel like I'm seeing you go. Why don't you pick up the phone? I really thought that we had all the time in the world was going backwards. Never thought it would end. Now I need you to
Oh no, where'd we go? I lost everything. I lost you all. I need to remove that. Whew. That was almost a disaster to the beginning of my Lunch with Longhorn Lester live. I'm really blessed to have you all here. Let me turn the lights on. Ooh, that's pretty bright. I'm trying to adjust the lighting on my ring light here behind me. I'm not wearing a cap today. I'm not wearing a cap, y'all. I got out of the shower and I shaved and everything is nice and smooth. And I just said, you know what? I'm just not going to put a cap on. I'm just going to go ahead and just blind you all. I just want to blind everybody. Just hope that you're like screaming and hollering because of the lighting. Boy, have we got some things to talk about today. Well, let me first of all give credit where credit is due. This shirt is brought to you by my friend Jason and Brooke, Mary Carl, over at Cog Hill Farm. He sent me these, and it has been a real man. Jason must he must watch my videos pretty close because he knows just what size I wear and what looks the best on me. Not everyone can do that. You know, Daniel, my other friend over at Arms Family, him and DJ sent me some shirts, and they were a little too. They just kind of like hung. They were like big, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because, you know, my body, at my age, I'm up and down, y'all. I am up and down all over the place. But what Jason did was like look real close. He's like, you know what, Brooke, I bet you. And he probably did all, you know, Jason's a mathematical kind of guy. And he found 4 shirts that, man, they just fit me just right. And I love these things. And I am afraid, God, I'm so afraid that I'm going to end up having to, when I wear these out, I'm going to have to go in there and buy some. And I tell you what, I'm not into buying shirts. Maybe I can find a way for him to send me some more because it's the right material, it's the right fit, and I'm loving these shirts. So, Jason, once again, this is the second week in a row I'm saying thank you. Not the same shirt I wore last week. It's the second shirt that I'm wearing, but this is the one that they made to sort of to dedicate to their 2 rescue dogs who've been such a big part of their life and their lives. And well, part of what they do, y'all, they do some really neat stuff over there. Hey, we got some stuff to talk about. What I'm trying to do right now in my mind is kind of like internalize what needs to come first, what needs to come second, what needs to come third and fourth. So I hope you have a little bit of time to spend with me today. First thing I need is a big old swig of this Dr. Pepper. I'll tell you on Fridays, because of my live at noon, I try to go out and get all of my chores done early. And so I can get that stuff out of the way. And then by noon, when I come in to sit down and do this, I've already had a shower and I can just kind of have me a relaxing drink of some sort. And then I will have to go to Tractor Supply in the afternoon, but I'm probably going to wait until Jamie's done with all of her Zoom stuff so she can go with me. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm not able to read everything. I know these glasses look ridiculous when you get the light reflecting off of them. It's nice to see everybody. It always baffles me how people find this small page. I'm happy to see you folks in Canada. I feel so bad for the wildfires that you guys are still dealing with. I know that a lot of airports and stuff in the northern, region of the United States is dealing with smoke. And so when the smoke can be that bad here, I can't imagine what you guys are dealing with over there. Oh, this is funny. I didn't bring any of this to play, but the eggplant prank. We had a lot of fun with our eggplant prank. We took that to Tractor Supply just for the prank part of it. I'll be honest, I was scared to go anywhere else with it. I kind of knew that if I did it at Tractor Supply, if something bad was to happen, like someone not take the joke and it goes south, I always have a place to run and hide. I know my way around Tractor Supply. I know every nook and cranny. And so going there to do my prank would be easy to run and hide. Now, not that I could outrun anybody, but and then of course I think that the folks at Tractor Supply would have my back when all comes down to it. I think they would have my back. But man, was that some fun. That was some fun. And I appreciate you making a comment on that and talking about it. I'm already reading over here in all the comments that you want to talk about Waylon. You want to talk about Waylon. So the unfortunate thing, so that video posted this morning on Facebook. It'll be up this afternoon on YouTube. So all of our YouTube people they have not had a chance to check it out yet. But I will go ahead, and it's too big of a topic not to talk about, especially because of the health and well-being of our little bull, Waylon. But I will go ahead and include some snippets that I have over here and let you guys see what happened. Now, you're going to see 3 different perspectives over here. You're going to see my perspective. I included some video from Jake, Shirtless Jake, and I also included some video from Bree, his sister, life on Morrow Hill. And I made sure that in my video this morning, I gave credit where credit is due. So if you guys are ever in the market to look around for new channels, if you don't already follow or visit those guys once in a while, you should probably do that. They have some pretty good stuff, especially when it pertains to things going on with our, the whole hill in general. Let me show you real fast. I'm going to start this from the beginning if I can. Let me pause it for a second and talk about what's going on. So yesterday, there was a horrible incident, and I'm calling it an incident at I'm a Survivor, where there was a gate left open. And because that gate was left open, it enabled my Longhorns, Waylon, Pearl, Jolene, and Gracie to all come out of their very safe pasture, and they made their way over onto my dad's property. And the details of how it all happened are still sketchy, but I have a really good idea. But what we had was a scuffle broke out, and everyone seems to be fine. Everyone was holding their own. I was the most impressed with this one right over here. That's, if you can't recognize that big bull, that right there is Moses. He is my dad's herd bull, which means he is the big man. He's the alpha. He's the one that controls and runs those pastures. He's had quite a few scuffles with Jake's bull, Santoro, the one some of you guys call Rip. But, and so that's been an ongoing issue with Jake and Moses for a while. But all of a sudden, my Longhorns found their way over. And I'll tell you what, all I can say is that all hell broke loose, because that's the descriptions I got from Jake and Bree and my dad, that it was just all hell had broken loose down there. And so I'm going to play a few snippets from some of their videos, but I don't want to take away their content. That's always been something that's that you have to be very careful about when you share content, is that you don't want to take away from anyone else's channel. So I did ask permission from both Jake and Bree. I actually invited them both to join me today, and neither one are able to. They both got things going on. I think that we might see Bree in the comments playing around, but her Wi-Fi is not working yet, and she couldn't. And Jake is out and about running errands. So let me go ahead and start this little video snippet But before we leave this particular picture, this was what I was the most impressed with as far as motherhood goes. Obviously, Santana is a full grown. What is she? Did I call her Santana? Pearl is a grown cow. Pearl is a grown cow. She's 3-4 years old, and now that's a grown cow. And when Moses come messing around trying to do his, what bulls do, she was not going to have him anywhere near her sister or her daughter. And so she stood up and she fought that bull for as long as she could. And now it wasn't pretty, because you'll be able to see in Jake's video that at some point Moses is a lot bigger, a lot stronger. And the only advantage that Pearl had is the length of her horns. And she was able to keep her horns out and kind of help protect herself, if nothing else. And but you know who else she protected was her daughter and her sister, and Gracie and Jolene. And I love that. And then poor Waylon. We're going to get to Waylon, guys. Poor Waylon. Now, Waylon is only a yearling. I don't even know if he's a year old yet. Waylon is a little guy, but he has been pastured with all of our Longhorns for a while. And this is a snippet of a screenshot I took from Brienne's video. And this is after the fight. Waylon got up in the mix, and a little bitty yearling calf who's probably about, I'm going to guess and say maybe a quarter of the size or the weight of Moses, and his little nubby horns, guys, he got right up in that mix, and he was trying to protect his little herd. And he was fighting Moses. He was fighting other female cows, and Waylon about killed himself. Now, when I say that, I'm not trying to scare you, and I'm not trying to freak anybody out, but you can see right there. And then the actual visual that I saw when I got there, after I heard there was a ruckus going on, whenever I showed up, it was very scary. And Waylon had worked himself down to just an exhaustion, having to turn and fight every single one of my dad's cows. Now, listen, it's animals, and it's what animals do. And, sometimes bad things happen. But we're just real blessed today that Waylon seems to be fine, and all of our babies are back home where they're safe. Let me play a little bit of video for you now, and we can talk more about it. I've taken my glasses off, so I can't really read your comments, but I will get back to them. I like to play a little snippet, talk about it, and play it, and talk about it, and then read some stuff and talk about it. That's kind of the format for how we do things here. And so I know this is not for everybody, and no one is happy about what we see here. But we are video creators, and that means that not only are we learning how to do our job and manage our farms, but we're also learning to do it with one hand, because we have that camera in the other. And we do that because that's our profession. The same way a journalist a photographer has to sometimes get out there in the mix of things and get those photos and get those videos. It's because that's a profession. And so that's what we've all done. So let me go ahead and play a little bit of the snippets over here. I don't know exactly sure if I put Bree or Jake's first. Let me play this along a little bit. Okay. So this is a snippet from Brienne, Life on Morrow Hill right there. Her title of her video is Crossing Fences and Creating Chaos. So clever title, Brienne. But listen, the funniest thing about this, there's nothing funny with what you're seeing right here. But I included this because I do want to laugh at something. Just watch it first.
Go!
I'll pause it right there for a minute. At this point, I believe that Jacob, Brienne, my dad had all come together to help break up the actual fight. And now they're trying to get Waylon to safety. Waylon's not looking good. He is not looking good. He's exhausted. I mean, he's panting. Mouth is wide open, tongue hanging out. He's been pushed and beaten and battered by every cow on that hill. They're all bigger than he is. And they all took their turns at beating him up. And so my dad is trying to lead him up towards the corral. My dad has a corral there at the front of his property. And we were trying to get Waylon. I say we, it was they. They were trying to get Waylon into the corral. Brienne is the one videoing right here from the safety of her side-by-side. You can see my dad right there in front, and he's trying to lead Waylon using feed on his side-by-side. But watch this. This is where Uncle Lester gets to jump in, and because I'm Uncle Lester, I get to have a little bit of fun here. Watch.
He does not look good. He doesn't look.
What is he doing? Listen, there are tractors. He has an Argo. There are side-by-sides. He has a nice truck, and he has no problems taking any of those machinery anywhere over that hill because he's done it 100 times. Why in the world is he out for a jog? But you can tell he's a true YouTuber, y'all. You can tell he's a true YouTuber because not only is he out for a jog and breaking up fights between large cattle, but he has his phone in his hand.
Very good. He doesn't look very good. He doesn't look very good.
Oh, I love Jake. I had to play that. I says, Jake, I'm going to make fun of you. And Jake knows that I do stuff like that. That's why I wanted Jake to join me. I wanted him to explain himself. No, don't tell me to stop. Don't tell me to stop. Everyone knows that Jake has been the great divide as far as our channels go, because people on Jake's page can't handle Uncle Lester and his humor. And I'm only guessing because it brings back horrible memories of your uncles who used to tease you. But no, I've already made sure to give Jake and Bree props for what they did. I sent a lengthy text with conversation. I actually had a chance to talk to them both yesterday and thank them tremendously for being available, for noticing, number one, for noticing what was going on, and then for being available, not sitting there in the house in the AC and just calling and say, hey, you got cows out, but actually both of them jumping up and getting down there and doing what had to be done, putting themselves into harm's way. My dad at his age, jumping up and getting down there, and no one, if you get a chance to watch both Jake and Brienne's videos, I want you to listen past the visuals. The visuals are hard to watch, but listen to the compassion in their voices. Both of them, along with my dad, had just this overwhelming compassion for Waylon. And Waylon's, he's my bull. He's my future herd bull. Therefore, I'm a survivor. And he found himself getting in a situation that he couldn't get himself out of. Yet I admire the fact that Waylon had the guts and the courage to stand up and do what was right and try to protect his ladies and and if that meant fighting every single one of them, then that's what it meant. And I said in my video that I believe that every one of us, men and women, have been in a situation where we have to defend somebody who, and we know it's a losing cause on our end, but you still do the honorable thing. And so as badly as I feel for little Waylon and for what he had to go through, and hoping there's no lingering physical or psychological effects, I'm just so darn proud of him. I am so darn proud of him. He didn't beat up anybody, y'all. He didn't. Jake said he didn't beat up anybody. Every cow, that means heifer and bull over there, gave him a working. They worked him over. And so Waylon may have had a little bit of a false sense of security that with his heifers there, he's able to kind of, we've joked and watched him sort of push his way around, push his weight around, even though he's a little guy. He's kind of, you know, hey, I'm the bull. This is my prerogative to eat first. And it's my prerogative to drink first. It's my prerogative to move you out of the way so I can have that particular feed trough. But when it came down to a fist fight, Waylon, knowing that he was the smallest, he jumped in there, and Jake said that he fought every cow in them woods before they could get him to leave and come on up towards the house. So I'm so blessed for that. I want to jump right into one of the biggest and concerning factors that has to do with the entire incident. And it's the fact that there are people on our property, some that we know, some that we don't know, who are going through our gates. And so yesterday I was down in my truck and I was actually making sure this gate was secured. I had made sure that there was not only the chain that the land clears put up, but I also tied a secondary lead rope. You can see the little pink colored lead rope around it. I'll go ahead and play this. I didn't want the guy to see me videoing him. I was trying to be kind of low key, but when I asked Mr. Leo what happened, and there was a lot of finger pointing. Everyone's pointing fingers at someone else for not doing it, for not closing the gate. I realized that there's just too many people in and out. There's just so many people in and out that it could have been anybody. And so I actually watched this one particular fella who y'all haven't seen him yet. He's a part of the woodcutters, the putt wooders. They're the ones who are coming by to gather up some of the pine that they cut out that they can actually sell. And so I didn't want him to see me videoing, so I kind of like looked away real fast. But I'm sitting there parked. He pulls up behind me and gets out to open the gate to go through. And I'm watching him really struggle. I'm watching him really, really struggle with getting this gate closed and latched back. And so what that tells me was that I'm not going to point any fingers. There's no one to point fingers at here. It's just to say that it could have been anybody who left that gate open or didn't latch it properly or tight enough. And we all know that sometimes people leave gates open accidentally. Sometimes we don't close them properly. Breakouts are a part of farm life, guys. Sometimes they can be comical and sometimes they can be, very harmful. And so this particular breakout, we know how it happened. It happened from this gate right here. But we don't know who the actual person, you can't pinpoint which person actually left the gate open. I am hoping that those guys can be finished. And so once they're completely finished, then I can go back and put a good, decent latch on that gate. And so this kind of stuff cannot happen again. But I do feel horrible about it. I gave a lot of props to both Bree, Jake, and my dad for being there when they were, for being able to see what happened and able to stop it before anyone got seriously hurt. And like I said, my biggest concern was Waylon, because the way he looked, as far as just he got overheated is what he did. He got too hot. And guys, we have had animals who have had heat stroke. You already know that. We lost Copper last summer to heat stroke. We lost our beloved Patty pig, the original Patty, from heat stroke. And so it's hot. And when they get out there and they find themselves having to turn and, so we were very lucky that Waylon is fine. And it was good thinking, fast thinking on Jake and Brienne and my dad who got down there. And all right, so this is where everyone's going to start getting weird and crazy. And so I've prepared for this. So I'm going to ask you politely in your comments to think before you start saying anything. Think really hard about what you're going to say before you just let things flow out of your mouth onto the keyboard. I want to show you, and I hate to have to do this, but I'm seeing it over here again right now. Look at this over here. Let me back this up a minute. Now, that might be a little bit too small for you guys to read. I wish I would have made it larger whenever I built it. But this morning, a lady who is a subscriber, which means that she pays $2.49 a month, she comes on to the video and she says, I guess I'm confused. Here we go. Why didn't Ellie and Megan help? They're supposedly running the sanctuary now. They need to help out with all aspects of the animals. Okay, so she, as of right there, she had a question. She's like, I'm kind of wondering why Ellie and Megan's not there helping also. And so, fine, that's a legit question that I could have answered very, very easily. But then she goes on. If she would have stopped it right there, that would have been, fine. But she goes on. It must be nice for them not having any rent or housing bills to have to pay. All right, so first of all, where did that come from? There's a mortgage on that home. So you think, so Ellie and Megan do in essence pay a mortgage, which is more than rent. I am not bashing anyone, she says. I'm not bashing anyone. All I'm saying is you get what you pay for. Okay, so she says that she's not bashing anyone. Okay, so here's what of course, I read it and I'm a parent and I do what any parent would do to defend your child. And I says, I'm going to politely ask that you remove this comment as it is in fact bashing. And I said, since when does the finances or the bills get included in a general question? Seriously, at what point do the finances and the bills of someone get included in asking a question about the video? I'm hoping this was just a lapse of judgment or maybe a loose tongue, which we're all capable of doing from time to time. Please take it down. She refused to take it down. And then as time went on, we have more people jumping in. Now this lady named Dora, who's a top fan, man, she watches a lot of videos. She says, Kimberly, they're coming after you. Stand your ground because I agree with you. Okay. So let me kind of go ahead and tell you what's going on in the mindset of someone who does this. So this right here is what this is why we don't like when people try to stir the pot and create controversy. You see, Kimberly drew her power from that right there. 11 people, man. Either she got a little angry faces, she got some likes from some people, she got some, whoa, did you really do that, girl? Oh my God, are you really doing that? And so Kimberly began to draw her power from stuff like that. And so ultimately, a really unnecessary comment, you're bashing my son and his beautiful fiance, Megan, got her 11 reactions. And then you had somebody over here, I forgot, Dora, who's now, she's not just going to give you a thumbs up or a like, or she's going to go ahead and say, you go, girl. Yeah, you go. And she starts doing all of her mess. And so at some point I thought, you know what? I'd waited long enough. And so let me show you what finally has to happen to people like this. Keep watching. This is interesting. So first we're going to take Dora. And I take Dora and I completely block her. Now I'm going to pause it right here because I can just block Dora's comment. I can block Dora's profile. But I'm really blessed that Facebook has discovered that sometimes mean people will create a brand new profile just to continue the bashing. Or they have multiple profiles. And who does that? Who needs to have multiple profiles? But what they do is allow you a second option. You can block Dora and any new profiles they create. So now they're actually looking at the ISP address. And so Dora will forever be blocked and banned from I'm a Survivor. So Dora, that's a shame because you were a top fan, but you're not the kind of fans that we value. And so now Kimberly, because she refused to remove her comment and thought it was so empowering, also got herself banned. Now, I know what y'all are saying. Lester, wait, she's a subscriber. Lester, you can't do that to a subscriber. The hell we can't. The hell we can't. Kimberly, if she thinks that she can spend $2.49 and that entitles her to start bashing my son or bashing anybody at I'm a Survivor, bashing, getting onto them about how that's just jealousy. I can't even think of what's going on in that woman's head. But nonetheless, those two ladies are completely gone, never to return to any videos that I'm a Survivor. And so, listen, I'm not saying that we don't appreciate the folks who like to support the page, and the supporter, $2.49, has done a lot. When we accumulate all of that, it has been able to do a lot as far as building the barns, helping with our hay crop, paying for vet bills. And there's a number of things that we are allocated the supporter money to doing. But one thing it is not doing and has never done is paying Ellie's bills or paying my bills or paying any house mortgage note. There are things that go along with donations to the 501c that you can do and you cannot do. And shame on you, ladies. Shame on you. And for anyone else who's over in the comments right now, being just as mean. So let me go ahead and remove this. A lot of y'all are saying, Lester, you just gave her the time and attention. You gave her 15 minutes of fame. Guys, she can take her 15 minutes of shame or fame and go stick it up her ass. She can go have her fame somewhere else now. I said it before. There are plenty of websites that thrive on controversy and hate, and they look for interaction and engagement, and they want all of that to happen. And we're not one of them, because we do feel that negativity spawns more negativity. And so we're going to try to avoid that the best we can. We don't have time to sit there and police and monitor every single comment. And but I'll tell you what, as I ran across that one, I was quite hurt. And so the unfortunate thing is that tomorrow, or maybe this afternoon, or maybe by now, there'll be an email from one or two of those ladies or any of the other ladies we've had to block and ban, and they're going to apologize, and they're going to say how sorry they are. They're going to say that it was just a, it was something they didn't think about. They didn't think it through. It doesn't matter. It's done. It's done. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that particular. Oh no, we got dogs coming in the house. Babe, dogs coming in the house. Guys, give me a moment to see if I can find something. I need to show you. Oh no, there are dogs in the house. Let me show you this. This is why I don't like dogs in the house when I'm in the house. Watch.
Calm down, y'all. Calm down.
This is a video snippet that I had on my computer because I thought it was so darn funny and horrible. This comes from a week ago when Jamie was doing her Timeout Tuesday. And in her Timeout Tuesday, she let the dog stay inside the house because there was a fella here working on the air conditioning. Yes, Buddy, our beloved Buddy, had chewed up all of our ductwork up in the loft. And our AC wasn't blowing. It was blowing into the loft, into the open loft. And so we had a guy come and spent several hours here doing the ductwork repair. And Jamie had started her Timeout Tuesday, but what she had forgotten to do was closed the door. Now, you may or may not know this, but Christmas and Stella, their bad habits are chasing cats. Mr. Hank lives in our house. He actually lives in our bedroom most of the time. And when Jamie let them dogs in the house, Jamie forgot to close the door. And watch what happens next.
Please. The dogs are inside with me because it was thundering outside, and because they were scared, and because there was a guy here working on the air ducts and the air conditioner today. Yeah. And we can blame Buddy for that super fun event. Hey. Uh-oh. Excuse me. Hey. No. Hey, get out of here. Get out. Get out. Oh my God. Hank, look at. Hank, look out, Hank. Oh my God. Hank, it's okay. Hank, Hank. Well, then y'all get to see some super fun things. Hey, it's okay. Hank, it's okay. Hank, Hank. Hank, look out, Hank. Oh my God. Hank, it's okay. Hank, Hank. Well, then y'all get to see some super fun things. Hey, it's okay. Oh my God. Okay. Excuse me. While I let the dogs all outside because Stella found Hank and that was a disaster. And that was the craziest thing that could have ever happened on a live.
That right there was a fiasco, but it's cute. Jamie just opened the door and let the dogs in. I don't know why. I don't know if she's trying to create chaos on my end, but I do see that the bedroom door is closed. And so hopefully we will not have any issues with anything happening right now, because it's been a crazy enough experience as it is. I don't know exactly if I have anything else to share with the whole Wayland incident, but I just want to make sure I remind you one last time. We are about 35 minutes in, that I'm really blessed that where Jacob lives, if anyone truly knows our land layout at I'm a Survivor, I don't have my drone footage to pull up over here for you, but from Ellie and Megan's house, from the vantage point that they have, they can't see anything back behind the barn. We built our barns to where they block the entire view of the back pastures. Everyone already knows this, right? This is something that is very common knowledge of all of you who are truly have followed I'm a Survivor, and how we have decided to kind of build everything around in kind of a compound type shape. But our home is up front, and then we have all three of the barns behind there. And so there's no view from the porch or even the windows into the back pastures. So Ellie and Megan, in fact, had no idea that the cows were ever out. They had no idea. Jake's house is built to where his back door and his back windows faces the back, which faces where my cows are at, and where Jake's cows are at, and where my dad's cows are at. Jake has the most advantageous vantage point of all. And so there was no wonder why it was Jake that walked out his back door. In fact, Jake doesn't have a front door right now. Jake is working on his house, and there's no front door. So Jake, walking out his back door, looked up to see what's what, and that's when he noticed that my cows were out. So Jake did the first thing he thought about doing: running and breaking up a fight. What Jake did not do is get on the phone and call Lester, get on the phone and call LE, get on the phone and call my dad. He didn't waste time on the phone to call Brienne. Jake takes off on foot to go down and break up what could have been a really bad fight. Now, Jake thought at first the fight was between his Santoro and Moses. But whenever he realized it was my cows, he didn't stop the fight or the chase. I'm sorry, he didn't stop the chase. He didn't stop going down and carrying through with breaking everything up. He didn't at that point stop and say, well, Lester, you got a problem over here. You better get over. None of that kind of stuff. My dad, who has a very similar vantage point, looked across and saw the same thing happening. Brienne, who was out and about doing whatever Brienne does all day, saw the same thing happening. And so all three of these folks converged on this scene to help break everything up, which is what families do, which is what good neighbors do. And so for anyone to come on and start looking for any excuse to bash LE and Megan, shame on you for not knowing what you're talking about. Simply, it's just shame on you for not knowing what you're talking about. Because if it had been Ellie or Megan who saw it, they would have also jumped into action. And Ellie has broken up a mini fight from all the animals. It's just what it boils down to is people get their minds made up on something. And once you get your mind made up, you get locked into your way. You're as tunnel visioned as any of those extremist radical groups that we talked about earlier this week. You get your tunnel vision and there ain't no changing your mind. It may be for the political side that you see. It may be from any kind of social, and you get your mind fixed on something and you are like this. And so if as right now you have something against Ellie and Megan, those two are just nothing but kids and those two can't do this, you are so mistaken. And then Jamie and I, Jamie's right here. She can vouch for me. You want to come vouch for me when I say this?
I don't know, but I feel like your blood pressure's growing.
Jamie says my
And
blood pressure is probably rising, which is probably
I feel
true.
like that you should just
Let it go.
Just let it go.
Let me just ask a simple question. Have the barns looked as clean in the last 2 years as they look right now?
Oh, they're beautiful.
Megan does. Why are you like holding my heart still?
I just want you to just calm down and change the subject and not stress out. It's okay.
I have to finish my point and then I'll move on.
Promise?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
I'm done.
Okay.
The barns have not looked better than they've looked in the last 2 years. And when I say the last 2 years, that was when I was there full time. Jamie's there full time. We've had Jake full time. We've had Ben part time, Jake part time. But the barns have never looked better than they look now. And that right there is 100% Megan. Megan. City girl Megan has done that.
We're city girls have a purpose too, and we can find our way around the farm and we figure it out. And sometimes it takes 27 tries to figure it out, but we sure as heck don't quit. So I have to give kudos about that too.
I
But
admire
then I'm going
it.
to tell you, like, find something good to talk about instead of all this blood pressure raising
Okay.
space.
All right. Well, you're making it worse
Oh.
by rubbing it in like blood pressure, blood pressure, blood pressure. I'm actually very calm and relaxed.
Okay.
And I've been a lot more heated than what I am right now. But I'm not heated at all. I've already blocked and banned the two ladies who I thought were just complete assholes this morning. And I'm guessing there'll probably be more of those pop up along the way. And I do hope that you can at some point find a way to take off the blinders. And the best way to do that, hey, here's an idea. If you're somebody who actually follows Megan or Ellie's channel, could you just put in the comments if you've seen I'm going to call it 180 degree, isn't that a complete turnaround, difference in video quality, workmanship, pride, content? I've seen it. And maybe you're saying, Lester, you're the one with blinders on. There ain't nothing changed with Ellie and Megan. Well, maybe they are blinders, but I feel like Ellie and Megan have taken on a very huge responsibility. And I'm going to say that the job that Megan and Ellie are doing is not an easy one. It's not an easy task. And then on top of that, Ellie and Megan have the added pressure of having so many people who are automatically not going to be accepting of them. And that's sad because that's not fair when you don't give someone a fair chance to earn your respect. That's very, very hard. And I know for a fact that all of us, either through your work or maybe your family relations, maybe when you marry into a new family, you've had to learn that some people will give you a chance to show who you are. And there's other folks who will never give you a chance. They'll never give you a chance. And so Ellie and Megan are quite the underdogs in all of this. And so as a protective father, I'm going to try my best to help remind folks, but I don't have to remind anything. If you'll just take a chance to watch a couple of videos, you might see for yourself how much love and dedication Megan has for the animals, how much time she spends on her behind, sitting down, just loving. And then I said this in a video recently, and I'll say it one last time, but the neatest thing that I see when I pull up to I'm a Survivor is Ellie and or Megan out, sometimes with their phones, which is what every creator has to do to make income. But more times than not, they're sitting there doing something, either with their dogs or with the animals, and they're not videoing, which means that the moment that they found themselves in is bigger than this kind of a moment. This kind of moment can make you a few dollars to help pay bills, to help pay insurance, to help pay, whatever your bills might be. But the moments that you sit there on your behind and love on Ringo, and you sit there and scratch on Pig Trudy, and you sit there and you spray those alpacas, or when you're out there changing water and cleaning up, behind the chickens, when scrubbing down the barn, and you're not videoing that, all that does is show your character. It's what and who you are when people are not watching. And what I have seen out of Ellie and Megan is they are fine farmers. It's the stuff that you see when people are not watching. Because remember, anybody, Lester, Jamie, Jake, Bree, anybody who has a Facebook channel or a YouTube channel, you can use this and you can create any narrative you want to of yourself. You can sit there and make everyone think that you're on top of the world when in fact you're dying on the inside. You can make everyone think that breakup doesn't affect you at all when in fact that's, you're consumed. You can't eat, you can't sleep. You can sit there and make them think that, you already know what I mean. On Facebook, everyone's doing wonderful. Everyone's doing great. Everyone's successful. And in real life, we don't always have, such successes. And so creating a narrative is one thing that people have gotten real good at. What you can't do is be so gullible to believe everything that you see. And so I will say one last thing that I did not make a screenshot of. I did not want to embarrass her. But another lady said this morning in a comment that I'm a Survivor is going downhill ever since Ellie and Megan took over. And so my reply to her was, name one thing. Name one thing. Give me one example. I didn't delete her comment. I asked her, give me one example. She deleted her comment. I didn't have to. She deleted it because what she realized was, I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. It's going to be fun to jump on a bandwagon of hate and anger and disgust and trying to shame somebody. But ultimately, when push came to shove, she's like, I really can't think of anything, because she can't. The grass is getting mowed. The trash is being taken down. The animals are being loved and fed, and there's been vet care administered. The barns are immaculately clean. And so Ben's roles have not increased or changed at all. Ben's doing the same thing Ben has always done by assisting us. But Ellie and Megan are spectacular. They're doing a spectacular job. But their vantage point of what happens in the far back is very different. And so we are super blessed to have so many other people around who did see what was happening and were able to jump on it. I think that one of the most recent videos of Ellie and Megan getting involved was when Lester, yours truly, accidentally left the gate open. And it was Ellie and Megan that jumped on the side-by-side and had to go around the road to make sure that the alpacas did not run onto the road. And they drove them back up for me. And so don't sit there and say foolish things. And then if you do, just know that I'm a dad above everything else. You know, I love my kids and I love my family, and I'm going to defend them. And you're not going to come at them and think that because you're a supporter, that you support the page, you have the right to do that, because you don't. And then I really will get off of that subject, because now I've just been on this long, quiet rant for a while. Here's something fun that can take our mind off everything. I have looked at this over and over and over, and I cannot. Five 845-283 is the number that I think I see, but I'm reading over here, no one has that exact same number. So how is it, y'all? How is it that that's happening? Hey, y'all want to do something else kind of fun? Oh, I should have had this ready. You guys keep guessing that. Let me figure this out real fast. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so funny. If you give me a chance to find it. All right, let me record this real fast. That's enough. Okay, I've recorded it. Let me stop it now. This is going to be really fun, and y'all are going to think that I'm like of the devil. You're going to think that unless you're of the devil, you're doing devil stuff. This is not devil stuff. This is actually really neat, mind-twisting things that is just, it is going to blow your mind. It's going to blow your mind. Now, listen, I'm going to show you something, and let me find the video file that I just uploaded. Where is it at? I just stuck it on here, Lester Morrow. Lester Morrow, there it is. Okay. Laurel. Okay, so I am going to type over here. Hold on. Okay, so look what I've typed over there. Yanny or Laurel. I'm going to play this for you guys, and I want you to tell me what you hear. What do you hear? Because I think that we all hear the same thing, but there's going to be so much the debate on what you actually hear. You ready? Here it goes. Here it goes. Laurel. 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 There are people in the comments that are saying they hear Yanny. There are people in the comments saying they hear the word Laurel. Laurel and Yanny sound nothing like each other. Hey, Jamie. Yanny and Laurel sound nothing alike. So how in the world is it that some of us are hearing Yanny and some are hearing Laurel? Because I'm hearing Yanny. I hear Yanny. Let's play it again. Laurel. Laurel. Laurel.
Laurel, Laurel,
I don't understand how you can tell me that you're hearing the word Laurel. I did this with my class one year. Before I finished teaching, I did this exact same thing with my class. And you have no idea how much fun we had in the entire class, sitting in the same room. And I put this audio recording on, and without anyone raising their hand, I had them write it down on a sticky note so as no one could change their mind based on what the pretty girl said or what the handsome fella said or the cool kid said. And so we turned those sticky notes in, and guys, it was darn near a 50-50 split on what these kids heard. And so I don't know the concept behind it. I don't know what evil or whatever's going on, but it's the craziest thing that we can all be hearing different things, even though we're hearing the same thing. Here it goes one last time.
Laurel, 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 Laurel.
Well, all of a sudden, Lainey King must have forgotten that she's in my kitchen. Literally, you're sitting in my kitchen. And when you're in my kitchen, you eat my cooking. Lainey King, my kitchen, you eat my cooking. That's what my grandmother always said.
Laurel.
All right, so there we go. Lanny or your... Oh, no. Kathy? Kathy, wait a minute. Hold on. Where did Kathy goes? Kathy said she was hearing Laurel. Now she's hearing Yanny. Where did it go? So you... Kathy goes, wait, now I'm hearing Laurel. Kathy, how did that happen? I didn't change anything. I'll play it one more time. Karen here. Karen says, Lainey King, putting a heart at the end of a bash does not make it okay. That's like putting LOL somewhere, just so it's not quite so harsh. Y'all, where's your human side at?
Laurel, 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 Laurel.
Alyssa says it's definitely a Laurel. Alyssa, I've not heard Laurel yet. I've never heard Laurel. I have never heard Laurel. So I don't know how you can. And someone says, nope, I still hear Yammy. Nikki, I still hear Yammy also. I don't know, y'all. I don't know how the mind works. I do not. But hey, that's always been a lot of fun. And if you want to try that with your family, it's very simple. What I did was went to YouTube on my phone and I just typed in, do you hear Yammy or Laurel? And I pressed enter and in the search bar, and it came up with 10, 20 different people recordings saying it. And I don't know how that happens. I do not understand how that happens. But it is what it is. Well, listen, I have I've taken up my entire hour. We've had a little bit of fun with the Lanny and the Laurel. We had some fun with the little numbers game. We had some fun watching Jamie leave a door open, and her cat, poor Mr. Hank, had to pretty much run and jump for his life. We also saw the process of having to remove people when they begin to bash someone's family. Y'all, if you want to say that things that you see me do are wrong, or there's an easier way, or that was kind of foolish, or I would have never done this, Lester, all of that is criticism, but it's respectful and it's constructive. But there's never anything constructive in bashing somebody for the way they look, or the way they talk, or the way they feel about certain subjects. You can always agree to disagree. And if you just keep that in your mind, just know that we're never going to see things eye to eye. Never. We're not. And so that's just a fact of life. But so I hate to see that there's people that might have really enjoyed animal videos, but they have such a disgust or a distaste for my son that they thought it was necessary to bash him and his finances. And so it's not my place to talk anyone else's finances but my own. But I will say that both Ellie and Megan are dependent on producing good quality videos in order to pay their bills. And Lester has not paid a bill for LE in the last 2 years. I haven't. LE does very well on his own. He's done very well with buying his own car and paying a note on that. I think his mom does pay his insurance. Up here I go talking about how I'm not going to talk about anyone else's bills. But you know what? He's my son and I love him. And I spend money on Lex in different ways, mostly with Xbox games, which is ridiculous if you ask me, virtual games. But that's not my place and it's definitely not yours. So you can have your opinions, but the best thing that you can do, and this goes for every video creator, is if you don't like their content, don't watch their videos. Don't watch a video just to hate on them, because guess what? You're actually supporting them in your hate. You don't get that, do you? If you watch their video and they get an ad and you have to watch past the ad, all because you hate them so bad, you want to keep seeing how you can hate them even more and more, you're actually supporting them. So you leave those channels, you unfollow those channels, you unlike those channels, and that way you never have to see them again. I've done that plenty of times. Anyway, Jamie always says that we are blessed with the number one asset, which is your time. I know it's valuable. You have things that you want to get done, and we appreciate you hanging out with us, with me. And I hope I didn't go off on, oh, I have a letter. I have a letter. Darn it. Hold on. Give me time to read my letter, y'all. I love to read letters. I'm trying to open this without tearing it all apart. Ah, well, there's some drawings. I see a cow and a couple of horses. Those are nice. And then the letter. It's on a half sheet of paper, which is cute. Hey, Lester, I've enclosed a picture of 3 animals that my dad drew many years ago. He used to draw and paint until he got muscular degeneration. The minute I saw this drawing, I knew I had to send it to you. This is Voodoo, Bucky's, and Tex. I enjoy your videos. My dad is 92. He'll be 93 on March the 2nd. He has to get real close to the TV, and he saw Tex. He said that cow has some long horns. Not sure when these pictures were drawn. I wrote on the back of the picture who drew it. May God bless you both. Take care, Diana. And then she gives me her email. And so on the back of her picture, she actually put who it was drawn by Richard E. Brock from Indiana. And she says she's not sure what year. So she says this is going to be a picture of Tex, Bucky's, and Voodoo. And I think that's lovely. And Miss Diana Rose, and she's from Indiana. Thank you so much for that letter. And I think that's a wonderful way to end the video, is to say that there's a 92-year-old man that had to get real close to the TV, and he saw Tex, and he goes, that cow got some long horns. And that's beautiful. And then you took something that which would have been a keepsake from your father and gave it to me. And I appreciate that. And that will go in our special box. We have a tote that we keep all letters and cards and things that you send us. And when we're having those kind of days, we can always go to that box and find something to make us feel a whole lot better. And it just kind of quantifies exactly, man, I really am going to let you go, but I will show you one last thing. On God! Remember this? Look at here. I have scoured the internet And most things that I have gotten from you guys have given me a lot more insight to this than anything else. I still cannot find an inscription. I got a detailed email showing me exactly where the inscription should be, and it's not there. Now, I did quite a bit of scrubbing on this thing. I hope that I wasn't the one that ended up scrubbing the inscription off. I found out after the fact I should have not scrubbed it, but I just wanted to be able to see it and be able to feel it. But it's what a neat and historic find here at the property. I did do a little bit more digging that same afternoon with to no avail. I kept finding old things like screws and nails and trinkets of stuff I couldn't identify, but it was something not of ancient times, obviously, or maybe not ancient, but historical finds. But it has really opened my eyes to what an amazing property we have here at Longhorn Lester's. Talked to my dad about it. He's equally intrigued. And my dad even says he had a great uncle who actually fought in the Battle of Galveston and was wounded there. And so, what a neat find. The last thing I'm going to say about this is I have a friend on a WhatsApp who said I need to probably try to get a hold of the landowners of that property, the site of Smithfield, where all of the Civil War stuff, the staging area took place. And I've already done that. And it's owned by an older man, and he has 3 sons. And I've spoken to all of them, and I have permission from nobody to go onto that property and look around. So what I am going to do is take my drone over and fly by. I will do lots of flybys, because what I really want to video is up around the front, where the old house used to be. I mean, I'm not going to find anything on my camera. I already know that. But it's I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm not videoing over the top of pools where women or children are out swimming. This is just doing a historical flyover of a person's property, is a historical property, and I'm just curious about the layout of it. And so I don't think that can be anything immoral or anything. I don't really know the exact legalities of that, but I don't want to trespass. I wouldn't want anyone trespassing over onto my property. But I really can't say what I can do or what I have the right to do if a drone flew over the top of the property. I don't think that our property rights extend above. I don't know. Anyone have any ideas about that? Hey, babe. Babe. Every time I hear Jamie walk in, she walks right back out. I don't know if there's any legal ramifications of flying your drone over a property. Like I said, I'm not flying it over a busy neighborhood pool where there might be kids or ladies trying to sunbathe. You can fly it across the beach. We've done that, and everyone flies their drones at different landmarks. So I don't really know the exact rules for this. So I don't know how much trouble I can get into, but I really do want to explore that property more. And if I can't do it by permission to walk onto it, then I'm going to fly over it a couple of times. So anyway, thank y'all for watching, and thank you so much for loving us and being so kind and sweet, and especially being supportive or at least understanding of the challenge that we put in front of Ellie and Megan in taking a step back and allowing them to find their way with I'm a Survivor. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again as I end this video. The animals have never had so much one-on-one attention. The animals have never been so well kept. There goes the ice machine. That is where I will end my video. Thank you all for watching, and we love you so very much. And cheers to you. Happy Friday. All right? And thank you all for watching. And thank you for loving me. I need it a lot.